Hello guys, welcome back to the next phase of our tutorial, and in this section we'll be looking at how to upload students' academic data. When all the configurations is done, the next phase is to upload students' marks. So we come to academic data and we go to students and we go to upload marks. Now when we click on upload marks, we have this table that presents to us the list of all the available classes that have been fully configured. Remember that during configuration we created 11 classes, which were Form 1A and B, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5 Arts and Science, Lower Seed Arts and Science, and Upper Seed Arts and Science. But when we want to upload marks under academic data, we are seeing only 4 classes. And it's easy, reason being that we have configured subjects for only these 4 classes. Therefore, when you want to upload students' marks, you can only upload marks for the classes whose subjects you have configured. Now, we have a column with the class name, the main class, the specialty, the number of students, the loaded sequence, and the term results. Now, if we look closely on this table, we will see that for Form 1A we have number of students loaded. This extra was done just as preparation for this second step of the tutorial. So I preloaded these sequences with 8 students for first and second sequence, and I'm going to show you how to upload this data for third and fourth sequence as well. Now for Form 1B, there is no loaded sequence. Most schools have 6 sequences that make up 3 terms in a school year. So the marks on this platform will be loaded sequentially, and for every sequence whose mark is loaded, we are going to get a blue check like this. So say we load the marks of Form 1B first sequence, we'll get a blue check like so on this check mark that is here, and this checkbox rather, sorry. So now we're going to upload marks for Form 1A third sequence. So to upload students' marks, the first thing that we have to do, we click on this upload marks button right here. And what we do next is I think that let's work with Form 1B, since we already have data in Form 1A. Let's work with Form 1B. So to upload marks here, what we do is we click on upload marks. Now when we click on upload marks, it brings us to this form. The first thing to do when you're on the screen, on the left you have an upload, you have a mark uploads form on the left, which has the class, the sequence, and the import result sheet input fields. On the right you have a students list, sheet download form. Now the first thing to do here is to click on this button, download class mark sheet. Download class mark sheet. So we click here and download the mark sheet and download class mark sheet, and it downloads an Excel file for us, which we just open by clicking here. And then we click on enable editing. So if we look at the Excel file, we notice here we have the school name, we have the class and the subclass information as well. We have the class and the subclass information. Then here we have the students' names, we have the sex, we have the date of birth, we have the place of birth. Then we have the classes, all the classes that we configured that have been done in Form 1B. We have all of them that are being shown on this Excel sheet as a column each per subject. Now permit me remind that in case the subjects were not well configured during the configuration phase, and we decide to add another subject here on this Excel sheet, like say for example sports, for example, and then we enter the marks here, the sheet is not going to be uploaded into the system. This is because the system is able to generate this sheet based on the configurations that we did during the first phase of the tutorial. So the essence of the configuration was to tell the system how to better configure each class mark sheet template to use for data upload. So this template is very important. All the headers should be maintained as is and should not be changed. The only thing we do here is keying in data like student's name information, sex, date of birth. So say we enter, I prepared the sheet for this, so I'll just copy here in order to save time. I'll just copy this data here and I paste it here. And I paste it like so. Excuse me a moment. Let me see. I copy. Sorry, I didn't copy that. Now paste. Let me see. Okay, I don't know why this is not pasting, by the way. Let me see. So we have this. Okay, I need to copy here. Copy. And I paste. Okay. So we have something like this. I think that I'm just going to have to enter. I'll just get from here. Get from here and I paste from here. Okay. Then come back here and I copy. Okay, I copy the names of the students. So I haven't copied the full table. So I come back here and I copy. Sorry. Oh my goodness, how do I copy this? Let me see. Okay, I hit copy and I paste this here. Okay, so now we have our mark sheets for first sequence from 1B. So what do? We save this. Come to file, click save as. Here we have documents, and now I come to form 1B and I enter here. I just enter first sequence. This is important so that we are able to organize the sheets, just in case we are going to have, or just in case we classify the data per sequence for all the 6 sequences. It's important that we know what sheet is being used for which sequence. So we save this in this form. Now we come back to the application. Here we select, since we already have the subclass selected, we only select the sequence, first sequence, and we select our file from above, which is, here we have let me see, this is from 1A. So this from 1B, first sequence. We click here on open, and we click on import mark sheets. Now we wait while, like the system says, be patient, uploading mark sheet. The system is actually uploading, or it's importing the data that was on the Excel file. And just in case there are any errors on the Excel file, the system is going to throw that error and not upload any data on the file. So now we have a result of our upload. We can see all the students that we've uploaded: Alice, Jane, our Peter, our usual Bob, Paul, and as it was on our Excel file. With the date of birth, the date of birth must be in the format day, month, and year, separated by / the sex in the format M and F. We have a 1 female, we have 7 males. This is 8 students, all of which are born in Boya. And as for the marks, no mark should be greater than 20. If any mark is greater than 20, the system is going to reject. So, and a marks has to be present for every student and for each subject. So we've successfully uploaded the academic data for Form 1B first sequence. So if we go back to academic data, upload marks, we should see that the checkbox for Form 1B first sequence is checked, as the marks have been uploaded for that sequence. Like we said, you can see right here the checkbox is checked, and now we have 8 students from 1B, and we will do the same for the second sequence. You just click here and upload the marks for the second sequence. We could actually re-upload okay, now you just select second sequence, and now we can just modify this sheet. We can modify this sheet in a way to play with the marks to give us something for our second sequence. We can do this, and we replace it with something like this. Replace this here. Do this. And we paste it here. Okay, and now we save this as our second sequence mark sheet. This is just for the purpose of this tutorial. Now we save this as Form 1B second sequence. So now we go back to the platform and we select the result sheet for second sequence, which will be most likely this form. Yeah, Form 1B second sequence. Select this file and we click on import mark sheet, and as you can see, the mark sheet is being uploaded. Now all you have to do is be patient for the data to be imported securely into the system. Now, as we've imported the marks for the first sequence, we can already see that we have okay, so these are the results for the second sequence that have been uploaded in the system. So if we go back like before, if we go back to the upload marks, we will have the second sequence of Form 1B as well checked, and as you can see, we have 8 students in Form 1B. even though, because we've imported the list for the first sequence and the second sequence, the only thing that changed between both sequences is the student's academic data, which is the student's marks, but their names and gender and date of birth were all the same. Therefore, the system recognized that these are the same students with just different marks for another sequence. So with all of this being done, after we've entered the marks for each sequence, now this means that assuming we've configured, or assuming like in an ideal scenario of GBHS Moliko Boya, that you configure all the classes that are in the school for both the English and the French section, yeah, we're going to have a long list of all classes that exist in the school, and we are going to load the data for each of these sequences. Now, after we've loaded the students' marks for each of these sequences, how do we now view what we've loaded? Like I said earlier, all the tables in this application are data tables, and they can be exported at any time for further exploitation. So if you want to have maybe a table, this table that we have here right now, you want to export this table in Excel format, just click on Excel. It's going to export the table for you, and immediately you can just click and you're going to view the same table on an Excel sheet. This comes in very handy when you have data that you want to export and exploit. So given that we have entered the marks already, now I want to view the details about the results that we have entered the platform. So what do? We click on results. We click on results. Now we see that we have only details about Form 1 being presented, but these are all the other classes. These are all the other main classes that exist in the school: Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5, lower and upper seat, and 6e, 5e, 3e, and all. So these are the details of all the main classes that exist. Remember, during the configurations, we did not configure subclasses for the Francophone subsection, but here we can see main classes because it's the system that proposes main classes. Now, if that we go to Form 1 and we click on view, now we have the details like the highest average, the lowest average, class average. This is based on the details that we have entered, SAT 16, but normally we see that Form 1A has 8 and Form 1B has 8 students. So if that we go here on view detail, now we can notice that second term is empty, third term has no data as well. Therefore, the annual results data that we have here is the data that corresponds to the first term results. And like you would normally imagine, if we had data in second and third term, it would be an average of the three. So now we click on view detail for Form 1. When you click on view detail for Form 1, now you have the detailed result about each of the subclasses in Form 1. Form 1A, 8 students, highest average 13.25, lowest average 6.59, class average 10.11. Form 1B, SAT 8, highest 13.25, lowest 9.17, and class average 10.26. No second term data, no third term data. This is because we've not loaded the results for third and fourth sequence, nor for the fifth and sixth sequences. That's why second term and third term is empty. So if that we do the same exercise for the third and the fourth sequence and the fifth and sixth sequence as well, we are going to get data in these columns, in these fields on this table. Now, like you would normally know, the annual results are average of the terminal results. So if I want to view the detailed results about Form 1B students that we just uploaded in the system, I click on detailed results. Again, this table as well can be exported to any of these formats. So now we have the table of the students' results in Form 1B that we just uploaded. And as you can see, it's still classified per term. Now for each student, we have Alice Jane, the only girl in our for 1B class. uh, she has an average of 8.92 for the first sequence and 9.58 for the second sequence, and the terminal average of 9.25 with an annual rank of number 7 and annual average of 9.25. So now we have our Peter, we have Doom Edwards, and we see that Doom Edwards is the first annually for 1B with an average of 13.25. We see as well that we have our Peter is the second with an average of 10.92. He actually had 9.75 in the first sequence, but he improved to 12.08 in the second sequence. Therefore, he did very well. Therefore, he had an average of 10.92. Okay, so this is the data that we are uploading for every student for every subclass. Now, given that we have this data, we want to see the student's report card. We want to see the report card of, for example, for Alice Jane, the only lady in our platform, in our class. And now we just do this by clicking on download report card. Now when you click on download report card, it's then generate the report sheet for this student and shows you. And the report card normally contains the student's mark and observations as well. So now we see this is the report card has generated successfully. We have national annual report card. National, because this is the ministerial, this is the Minesec annual report card for these students. The school is going to issue their report card as well for this academic year. The section is this: the class, the student name, place of birth, specialty, date of birth, and all the information is available. Now we see where the subject groups that we configured in the first phase of our tutorial. We now see how they come in here very handy, because the subjects are classified on the report card per subject group. Now we have citizenship, English, math, and French as the composite subjects, and we see that the student actually has an average of 12.17 on composite subjects. Home student is doing really well. And then we see that here for science subjects like biology, chemistry, physics, and computer science, the student actually has an average of, okay, here we have the total marks for the science subjects. Now we have term 2 is empty. Term 3 is empty. This is because we did not load data for the food and feed sequence. Now we have the art subjects, literature and history. So the order in which we create our subject groups is very important, because it is in that same order that is going to be presented on the national annual report card for each student. Now this report card, like I said, is an annual report card. That's why we have the term, we have all the 3 terms on this report card. If you were a term report card, we have only the first and second sequence information and the first term information on the report card. Now here we have remarks like very poor. Citizenship normally is 12, but when you do an average for the whole year, we see that the student has 4 in citizenship, because the mark is divided by 3 for the 3 terms. It's very poor. So when we've entered all of this data on the platform, we discover that we are now going to have an excellent report card with accurate data about the students' information. Same for all the other subjects. So now you have the students' annual results here. This is the students' annual average. This is the students' rank, 7th in the class. Now you have HR encouragement, number of absences, congrats, you have remark, you have parent signature, academic remark, and all of that. So this is the student national annual report card, and this report card can be downloaded by simply clicking on the download icon on the top right hand corner of your browser. Click there. Once you click there, you are prompted to save. The default name of the file is the name of the student, Alice Jane, and you can simply do this by simply hit on the save, and Alice Jane report card is downloaded. To view it, you simply click on the downloaded file and it's opened with your default PDF reader on your device, and this file can as well be printed. So now we go back to the system. Here we are presented with the results of all the students in Form 1B. Remember how we actually had to deep dive from the general results right down to only Form 1 had details. We entered Form 1, we saw Form 1A and B, then we took Form 1B, and it brought us here. Now, say we want to have all the report cards for all the students in Form 1B, and we have about 200 students in Form 1B. We may not be able to go through actually downloading report card for each student, so we can simply do that by clicking on this bulk report card download for the entire class. Simply click on this button and the system now generates. So now works on the generation module that presents you all the report cards for all the students in one PDF file with one report card per page. This comes in very handy in case we have like a class master that wants to go through. Remember that the data that is loaded on this platform is going to be repartitioned across the different levels in Minesec hierarchy. We have the principals that will be looking into this data. We have the divisional delegates, we have the regional delegates, and we have the ministry itself. So these personnel may not have the time to go through report card one after the other. So when you click here, you get a file with all the report cards in general. So you can just scroll down and you have the other report cards, and this can be printed just in one launch, and we get all the report cards and we can go through them. So we have this student who is the second. We see that the marks in blue are those are above 10 or those are passed, and the ones in red are those are failed. So basically we have come to the end of the second phase or the second step of our tutorial, which basically was about uploading students' marks, the right procedure for uploading students' marks, and how the results are read, and how the students' national annual report card can be downloaded on this platform. So we'll just do a quick recap of what we've learned so far. We upload by going to academic data, and here we click on upload marks. And when we click on upload marks, we discover that we see only the classes whose subjects have been configured, and the sequences that have been loaded are checked with the blue check, and those have not been loaded and not checked. So in case where we've loaded all the classes, that where we've configured all the classes that exist in the school, here we should have a long list of classes and information about loaded sequences. We load the students' data by simply clicking on the upload marks button and then downloading the class mark sheet and entering the students' marks. So when you click here, after we've uploaded the students' academic data the first time, on the second download of this mark sheet, it comes pre-filled with the students' information, such that we no longer have to enter the student's name and all. We just have to enter only the student's marks. Now, when you reload the students' the marks for the second or the third sequence, the number of students in the platform doesn't change, because the same knows that okay, we have this student called Alice Jane, who is a female and was born on the 20th of September 2005. And because that is unique, the system recognizes the very student. So we have to be very careful about the students' data on the mark sheet to not alter the students' data. And like we emphasized earlier, that the headings on the mark sheet, are very important and should not be changed. No mark as well should be greater than 20. So we save the file and we upload using the import mark sheet form, and review the results by clicking on the results sub on the site nav. We click on the results tab and we get this result statistics per class, and we deep dive to view the statistics per subclass, and we deep dive to view the statistics about that class for the students in the class. So basically that's it. You can always download any student's report card at any point in time to track the performance of the students in the school. So here we have the bulk download report card, and here we have the report card for the student Alice Jane, and here we have the report of unusual who finished fourth with an average of 10.26. So basically we have come to the end of our training. I hope that it has been a good one, and that we've actually been able to capture all the details that we should. And like just to emphasize, like I said, every table on the system can be exported for further exploitation. That means that you can as well export this table as well to Excel format. You just have to click here and you have this table presented to you on an Excel sheet with the data for further exploitation. So it's that straightforward and that simple. Now if we go back to our home page, we discovered that the number of students should have increased to 16. The number of females 2, the number of male 14, and number of classes 11. 2 because we have one girl in Form 1A and one girl in Form 1B, and 7 boys in Form 1A and 7 boys in Form 1B. Therefore, the school has 16 students that are enrolled, and the school has 11 classes. If we look down here, we now see that the chart has changed. For the students enrolled per class, we have Form 1 with a bar of 16 and the others 0. This is because we've not loaded data for any other class. Now the students enrolled per specialty, we see that it's just a circular green pie chart. But if that we had data from other specialties, we're going to have a beautiful multicolored pie chart on the right bottom corner. Yeah, so I believe that we've able to cover every detail. If that we should go back here, if that we should navigate to the previous year, we will not be able to see any data about the school GBHS Moliko Buya, because like we emphasized, this is the year switch. This is the year switch that permits you to go back in time and look at the academic record of students in the school for every class. You see that details about students has gone back to 0 because that year we did not record any students. But given that classes form the structure of the school, we have the classes that are still there. And if we fast forward to present date, we are going to see the details about students present in the system. So thank you very much that you have listened to this point. I hope that you have been able to gather information that will help you to effectively use the Cartescolaire Academic System or the School Map Academic System. In case of any questions or worries, we'll be very glad to assist you. You just have to send a mail to support@icloud.cm and we are going to respond in no time, almost immediately. The data that we enter on this platform is critical data and should only be done with the school, and we are advised to pay attention to detail when entering data on the Minesec Academic System. So thank you very much and see you. Bye bye.